Butterflies unite, sisters.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Glow and Flow Show, episode 3. It is Josie Mars here, and I am here with Vanessa Hernandez.
Hello, everybody.
We hope that your new year is off to a good start. We are so excited to come back to you in 2026 with some fun stuff. We are going to be talking about the solar plexus chakra today, which is all about personal power and how we really explore our beliefs and our values. And we'll have some anecdotal things we do, but make sure you listen to the whole episode because we're going to give you sort of a framework on how you can start diving deep into your personal beliefs and your values and how you get to the core of your authentic self.
I'm so excited about this, Josie. Number one, because I feel like in the new year, many of us focus on a lot of goals, right? And the energy that we bring for those goals can be sometimes, I want to lose weight, right? I need to lose weight, right? And so there's so much pressure that we put on ourselves. What if we were to change that energy or that intention, have that intention behind our goals and make it about, I want to just feel better about myself, not just want to look good, but I want to feel healthier. I want to feel more radiant. I want to feel more purposeful. I want to give the greatest energy to other people, right? And so it's for the betterment of our, not just our physical body, but also our spirit and our emotional being, especially living in such a tumultuous world these days. We really need to take care of ourselves, and self-care has been a very buzzword these days, but does anybody really know what self-care is? Is it about going and getting your nails done, going your hair done? I mean, those things help, but what if we are maybe called to stepping into a stillness and listen carefully to what we have been believing and to what we are being signing up for our values, right? And so it's totally reassessing our lives around that, and that's what definitely guide us to make better decisions and more conscious too.
Absolutely. And I think it takes a lot of bravery too. This step right now, is going to be one of your biggest steps. Being brave is a hard thing to do, but the payoff is really, really amazing. And I think that it's important to take it at your own pace, to, you know, go with a simpler way of doing things. I think that the biggest changes are done in small incremental steps.
I
Right?
agree. Yeah, I always said to people, and even it was hard for me to really embody this phrase, you do not climb Mount Everest in one day, and you can only focus on the next steps ahead of you, because if you do want to achieve so much in a short period of time, and I have been there, and sometimes I feel like I'm there, and then our energy just is so scattered that we don't know what we really are honing into. So I think it's about discerning what's important to you and what will move the needle to the next version of you, because I believe that is the new version of us that can accomplish difficult things. Right? And so I'm excited for this opportunity um, to talk about the powerful center of the solar plexus, but also how does that relate to our lives? How does it relate to the actions that we take?
Absolutely.
Yes. And also, I'm excited to talk about your book because we're going to be using your book as a guideline today.
Yes. So before we get into that, the solar plexus chakra, or the Manipura, called, it means city of jewels, is located in the upper abdomen navel area. And it acts as the center of your personal power, your confidence, your self esteem, and your willpower. Okay, and the color is yellow, and it's the element is fire. Um, so that's just a basic um, sort of description. Now, there are some physical associations with the solar plexus as well, which I think are important. Our digestive system and our metabolic functions, liver and gallbladder, are also encompassed in that energy.
Mm-hmm. And just to add to that, also our diaphragm,
Oh, yes.
because
Yep.
that also it is the center that activates our parasympathetic and
Yes.
sympathetic system.
Yes.
And so, whenever we get anxious, that's our center that we can manage our breath,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So it is how we activate calmness or not.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, after knowing a little bit about the solar plexus chakra, take a moment to just think about how that might affect you, how those things, how that energy might affect you, or how it's affecting you at this time. I like to tell people like what can, if it's blocked, what can happen. So you can have low self-esteem, lack of confidence, feeling like a victim, fear of rejection, and digestive issues. Um, and if it's overactive, this energy, um, you could be very aggressive, a need to control things. I can feel that one very prominently in my energy at points, just having to control everything all the time,
Mm-hmm.
um, uh, and stubbornness. So, like, think about that. What do you see within that energy? Okay, and don't look at it as a bad thing or a good thing. It just is. That is what your energy in the solar plexus chakra is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think also being women and being mothers, right?
Yes.
Um, it actually plays a big role too, because a lot of moms want to have it all under control, and
Yes.
sometimes we can't control what's happening. Especially, I have a 24-year-old daughter, and she's in the world now doing her own thing, and sometimes they're, they're not conscious of the actions they're taking, and you want to say something, right? And it comes back, and anyways, it plays in many parts of our daily lives. And so one of the methods that I say to sometimes to calm down is just take deep breaths, right? I've learned that, living with anxiety at one point in my life, breathing, breath work was a great medicine. It is a great medicine for me.
Yes.
And so taking a pause during my day to just deep breathe, right? And then calming down the system, and engaging the vagus nerve, and
Yep.
having the going back to baseline, to neutrality. It's always the body actually, I just learned this, the body has 80% of the management of your stress responses, because when you're calming your with your breath, the body, because of 80% of that energy, it goes to the brain, and so the brain comes down.
Nice.
That brain only has 20% power, and that's why when people are in their minds, it's harder to really calm the body,
Yeah.
right? Because let's say you're nervous or you're anxious, it's going to take over your body,
Yeah.
right? 20%.
Yeah.
But if you start with the body, the
Yeah.
responses are going to calm the mind. So if you're having a hard time calming the story, or you know just take breaths, and that will make it better for
I'm
sure.
really happy you said that because I myself have a 12-year-old that is neurodivergent, and sometimes um, my days start off very, very, very rocky. And the thing that I love doing the most, and this does have something to do with the solar plexus chakra, is making sure that I have 10 or 15 minutes of physical activity every day, because it gets you out of your 20% brain and into your 80% body.
Mm-hmm.
That's when Vanessa said this on our other episodes, getting yourself out of your head and into your body is very, very helpful. Okay, so like I'm doing things with like core strength, or I'm doing things that are just getting my body moving so that I can take myself out of my anxious brain and feeling like I've been defeated as a mom, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and getting down into my body and moving that and really getting that solar plexus energy open.
Yeah.
And that has actually saved me, because, you know, 6 years ago, I didn't have that. 6 years ago, having a hard, dysregulated morning with my son would knock me out for the whole day. I could hardly do anything because I was in my mind
Mm-hmm.
and I was ruminating and doing all those things. And 6 years ago, that's when my book came out, the very first book, Freeing the Butterfly. And at that point, I was just trying to figure out my energy, figure out how to deal with the things that I was facing. And I was way more anxious than I was before. So thank you for saying that, because, you know, moving my body every single day
Mm-hmm.
after having a very dysregulated morning with my son has really changed
Yeah.
my mental health
Yeah.
and my energy.
Yeah. And it's I'm reading this book called Wholesome Wisdom.
Mm.
Maybe I'm not, I can't remember exactly the topic, but she said that whenever we go into a sense of stress,
Mm-hmm.
in the book she says that it takes 21 days for our body to reset. And if we are in constant stress and the body never really gets to recuperate, we are not in homeostasis, which is the state where the body or our systems heal,
Yeah.
right? So no wonder we have so many people with, diseases and illnesses. And
Yes.
the worst part is also autoimmune diseases nowadays. But as we all, maybe have come across, the autoimmune is actually the manifestation of self-hate, right? So if you think about that,
Yeah.
why is our defenses attacking our own body? Is because we don't love ourselves,
No.
right? And so the body is intelligent, and that tells you is our unconscious,
Yeah.
right? It knows. The body knows, is the intelligent. It's we get paid these days for our brains. And I think we have intensified and amplified that.
Yeah.
And that could be true. A lot of the things that exist now, that are out there, they're being in somebody's head first. They've been a thought
Sure.
first.
Yep.
And I'm sure a lot of those things serve services, products, but we living in a society that is way over capitalist, a materialistic speaking. And I love what you said in the beginning, is about living simple. What does that mean for everybody,
Yes.
right? You know, I find that I don't own a house anymore, but when I did, I was house poor. Okay. And that was because all my expenses were on the house. And I was making good money, and my husband was making good money. But where was that all the money going, right? And so sometimes you have to make decisions that will bring you peace, even though many people put a lot of value in having things. And
Yes.
I get it, that is an investment,
Mm-hmm.
but at the cost of what?
Of
At the
what?
cost of your mental health, of your physical health, right? And so this is where we come into a place where you can have a lot of things, but your nervous system is dysregulated
Yep.
because you're living in constant stress.
That's right.
And if the body cannot recuperate in 21 days, this is why many people have being, at the top of the mountain. What now, right? what do I do now? What's next? Right? And then they're leaving for the next thing and the next thing. It becomes this competition, keeping up with the Joneses, and just achieving and getting for the next thing. The the most recent car or whatever gadget it is out there, right? More
Yep,
money.
sure.
Anyway, I'm just saying that sometimes you have to really pick the things that really bring you joy,
Yeah.
and those are really the simple things: a walk in nature,
Yep.
exercise,
Yep.
eating a healthy meal, right? Breathing in the morning, meditating. I mean, those are the things that have been my medicine, anyways, and has kept me living a better life,
Yep.
right? Even though I've gone through hell back and forth, like we
Yeah.
all have touched that door, right?
Yes.
So yeah, so the body, it's what we really need to pay attention to, because it's also where the heart is,
Yes.
right? And I think the journey, the hardest journey, they say, is from your head to the heart, but we need to be in that alignment, and that's a hard thing. And so today we really want to get into what can bring you more in alignment and being your authentic self. And I'm really excited to speak about your book too,
Yes.
because it's a really great framework for
Yeah.
anyone initiating in this journey.
Yeah. And before I do that, I want I want to say, if you're listening to this and you think like, but my stress is my fuel, what we want you to do is just ask yourself why, right? So we're talking directly about exploring your beliefs and values. So think about why stress fuels you. Write some notes and then decide, like, is this what I want to continue doing? Right? We want to bring awareness to that. And if you want to continue doing that and you think that's serving you, then you keep going and do your thing. But if you feel like you want to explore this more, then this is your time to explore that. We're not saying do nothing. We're just saying look at what it is that's happening and look at it closely and go from there. So, we're going to be talking about the first chapter in Freeing the Butterfly Within. This is the second book that Michelle Cornish and I wrote in the Freeing the Butterfly series. The first one talks about your energy and what that means and how you can balance it, and things you can do holistically. Okay. That book was born because Michelle and I both were in a place in our lives where we were not happy and we knew there was more, but we couldn't quite figure out what was happening at that moment. But once we learned about our energy centers and the way that our energy impacts our lives, we wrote that book to help any woman or person to pick up the guide and make a change holistically. Then we waited. We waited about 6 years before we put Freeing the Butterfly Within out. And Freeing the Butterfly is all about connecting your inner power to create lasting changes and happiness. And for me, anyways, Freeing the Butterfly was about, okay, so I was in a portion in my life when the first book came out where I was going through infertility. I was very depressed. I had a huge abandonment wound, and I was sick and tired of feeling that way. So that was my like my descent to my awakening, to figuring out what the heck was going on. Why did I feel this way? I didn't like it anymore. Okay. When we got to that portion of transformation, Michelle and I sat down and thought, not only do we want our readers to be able to like be more authentically themselves, but we both were going through a lot of new things that had happened through our transformation. I wasn't feeling like 100% happy in the life I was living. I have a beautiful child with some challenges. I had a wonderful husband, and I was in the next level of my awakening, and that was trying to figure out if what I was living by was actually keeping me happy, and was that me? So this book is about having a framework to find out who you are, getting down to your beliefs and your values, and really questioning if that's what's working for you at this time. That's working for me at this time. And I, I wasn't happy where I was, and I knew I had to keep going forward. So I decided to take a deep dive within myself, and I am just a more authentic person now. So that's how Freeing the Butterfly Within sort of became born. We wanted to give our readers something to go deeper, but personally, for me anyway, I said, the work is not done yet. I'm exploring, I'm transforming, I'm growing, but I need more because I still have to get down to the nitty gritty of who Josie Myers actually is.
What a beautiful way to really enter this journey, especially being a new mom, right?
Yeah.
And I say that there's some, for women, one of the catalysts can be motherhood.
Absolutely.
And, and in your case, too, all the challenges that came with being a mother,
Yes.
right? And so questioning life at that point, who is me without all the other stuff, right?
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
think for many people it comes to that point as well.
Yeah.
Who am I without all these things, without
Yeah.
all these things that I've accomplished or things that I have bought? And so I feel like one of the things I love about your book is how can be very useful for anybody initiating in this journey,
Yes.
because in my own experience about who am I, and questioning all of my life, and this moment of what they call a existential crisis, right?
Yeah.
Existence. I remember who I would ask myself, who am I? What am I here for? Right? And so that led for me to reassess my values and start questioning my beliefs. Whose beliefs am I believing? Right? And they say, I think, forgetting her name, Miriam Williamson, I think she mentioned one time that she said a belief is a thought that you have thought so many times every day, right? And so you start believing that you're not good enough because of the experiences of people abandoning you or rejecting you, right?
Yes.
And then so we make it up about ourselves. But is it true? Is it true that that's true?
Yeah.
And so I invite people to really deep into this work, because as sometimes difficult as it can be to break the box that we live in, the prison in our heads of who we think we are,
Yes.
or we think others think we are. It's about really looking in the mirror, and you will not be happy with some parts of you, but you can believe me, it comes to a point where you cross the bridge and you're on the other side, and you said that was hard, but I'm glad I did it.
Absolutely.
Right? And regardless of the leaps and what is required to do this work, you would always end up in a better place.
Yes.
And so you have a portion here, if I don't know if you want to read it, is the what are beliefs and values.
Yeah.
If we can give the audience a little bit of taste of what the book says. I love this part, by the way, because it's very important that people have a discerning and understanding what the difference between the two.
Yes.
Because I think many people are still uses this very subtly, but they think it is interrelated. It's interrelated, but it's not the same thing.
That's right. Yeah. So on page 7 of Freeing the Butterfly Within, we say, what are beliefs and values? So before we dive into why beliefs and values are important, let's define what they are. Beliefs are the ideas and opinions we hold about the world and ourselves. They shape our perception of reality and influence how we interpret events and situations. Values, on the other hand, are the principles and standards we hold as important. They determine what we prioritize in life and guide our decisions and actions.
Beautiful. I always love that part because it's actually the framework for this chapter that we're
Yes.
talking about,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And it just goes and says, beliefs and values are both important aspects in our personal identity,
Yep.
but they're also distinct from each other.
Yes.
While beliefs are ideas and or convictions we hold to be true, values are principles or standards that we consider to be important or desirable.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, thank you for
No problem.
writing that. Amazing.
Yeah, and I think that our values are the most important.
Right. I always think that our values are our inner compass.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And we might have many, many values, even when we talk about the love languages, because I believe in the love languages so much. When I read that book, it actually opened up this door for me to understand why relationships battle so much with feeling love with each other. And when I read the book, it really opened my eyes. Wow, I said, what do really we value about love, right?
Yeah.
And then so it's so connected, and I love that because when we understand how we want to be loved and how others want to be loved, then we understand the value of love, right? And love is in everything.
Yes.
So I remember reassessing my values, and when I did, it was I think I end up with 5 values,
Okay.
right? And for me, it was personal and spiritual growth,
Yes.
connection with people,
Yes.
right? Service to others.
Yep.
And there was 2 more, but I think one was being my authentic self. And it was hard for me because I didn't at that time really know what being authentic was, right? I was afraid to unveil my feelings and emotions to other people, to open up about it, because I felt naked, right?
Yeah.
And not in a good way,
No.
because there's so much that I had suppressed through the years,
Yes.
and I had covered that I thought if people see me this way, they're not gonna like me, they're not gonna accept me.
Yeah.
And as we know, by nature, we want to belong, right?
Yes.
In this world, in this planet, and we fight for that. We fight for the right to belong, and so we will cover up ourselves. We will put a mask on to not reveal who we truly are. And so when we suppress those parts, what happens? There comes the shadow part, right? And that is something that I'm passionate about, because those are the things that eventually, comes, in a way or shape or form automatically in our lives, right?
I just always say, like, how many times do you betray yourself for others?
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't look at it that way in a long time. When you're a people pleaser, you don't ever think about how you're betraying yourself. You're thinking about how you're serving someone else, right? And service is not bad. Service is amazing with boundaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I always think, like, if I do this, or if I interact with this person, or if I, whatever it is, just ask myself, am I betraying myself in this time? Because the only person I have to come home to is myself at the end of the day. And if I can't do that, and I can't feel right with myself, I can't do that. It's too much. It's giving too much of myself. Yeah.
I totally agree with that, because boundaries, like we were talking earlier too,
Yeah.
is one of the most challenging things to establish, because we want to please people,
Yes.
but in the end we end up betraying ourselves too, right?
Yeah.
And we feel like if we say yes to everything, even against our ability to say no, then we're putting ourselves in that situation where we grow in resentment
Yes.
with people and with circumstances.
and
sure.
ourselves,
And
right?
ourselves too.
You don't want to resent yourself at the end of the day
No.
because you are constantly overstepping your own boundaries, right?
And I think that's the key.
Yeah,
It's about you establishing those boundaries for yourself, and
that's right.
that will lead to setting those boundaries for other people.
Yes. Yeah.
This is an amazing topic. I really love it. Um, one of the things I like to also praise on this book is the questions that you actually put in there, which are amazing journal prompts,
Yes.
right? And I know there is a journal prompt book that you
Yes.
have as well.
Yes.
But there is great initiation questions to explore. So if we can even just,
Yeah.
if you're okay to share some of the questions, just a little sample.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to say too that the personal, like the sacral chakra, so I keep saying sacral, the solar plexus chakra, we we cover beliefs and your personal power at the same time in this
Hmm.
chapter. And this is why we sort of talked about, actually, we came up with this before we talked about the book. So,
Yes.
um, yeah, so the questions that we have is to explore your beliefs are: what do I believe about my abilities and limitations? What do I believe about the nature of the world? And what do I believe about the role of other people in my life? So they're hard questions.
They are,
So
because it was.
if you're working with these questions during this or after, really give yourself some time to think,
Mhm.
because we're talking about the role of your beliefs here. It'll, like you said, like our values are our internal compass for sure. The belief system we talk about here is more about the outside, right?
Yeah.
Concern of our outside belief structures,
Hmm.
not our internal values. Yeah.
And I don't want to give too much away, but you do talk about how their beliefs come to be in the
Yes.
book, which
Yes.
is really important,
Yeah.
as you were saying that,
Yeah.
because many people don't understand that you grew up in religion and in a
Sure.
society that
Yeah.
shapes you,
Yes.
but also the environment shapes you. And
Yes.
so you come to believe whatever it was in your environment,
That's right.
from the, a child to now that you could be an
Yeah.
adult, a mom, a
Yep.
dad,
It's true.
right?
Yep. Yeah.
And so I feel like, for anyone really exploring this journey of even healing yourself, or even becoming, a better version of yourself, right? It's exploring those things that will initiate your intentions,
Yes.
and it will say, okay, so for example, if I value health, right, what will be the actions that I will take that will take me to a healthier version of me?
Yeah.
And so I will eat better, I will exercise better.
Yep.
And and in exercising, you don't have to go to a gym. I mean, I know many people hate gyms, but there's other ways to move,
Yep.
right? There's different ways to move. Going on walks, maybe, doing exercises at home, yoga, whatever people are into, is a way of moving the body.
Yep.
And also because it resets the vagus nerve,
Yep.
right? So that's a great start.
Yep.
And what are the things that we're putting in our body too? Because there's a lot of foods out there that are not healthy,
Yes.
right? And we can do our diligent, uh, our work in finding what's healthy for our bodies, and have that awareness too of, if I eat something and it didn't sit well in my stomach, am I going to want to eat it again, right? So it's making the choices, the conscious choices, to be a healthier person. But
Yes.
that's because if you are in value in your health,
Yes.
right? And the other thing is growth. we all have to grow.
Absolutely.
I recently attended a seminar. In this seminar, he talked about whether you're growing or you're decaying,
Wow.
right?
Hmm.
And it's two choices.
Yeah.
And so if you feel like you're not growing in any aspects in your life, then you're decaying. What you don't use, it'll go extinct,
Absolutely.
right? So I feel like everybody could have a little bit of more a learning and learn a new thing during the year, not just going to the gym or exercise or whatnot, but you can always engage in a new course,
Yep.
learn something new, maybe cooking, maybe something,
Yep.
because you have to also stimulate your brain,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Get curious.
Yeah.
Right. Remember that um, if you're seeing things over and over again, that's awareness. That's something that has to have
Mhm.
attention to. It's not just a coincidence, right? Um, and even like personal goals,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
like every year you should sit and think about what you want to do, right? And you don't have to do many things at once. Just pick one thing, you
Mhm.
know, and do that. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't have to go like, I want to see balls to the wall because that's what's coming to my mind right now. You don't have to go crazy. I know that one of the things is like there's always a lot of pressure. There's always like social media is a killer for this. Everyone's achieving something. Everyone's doing a million things at once. Everyone's doing That's not reality. We are humans. If we want to do something, we need to be very focused. You don't have to do five things at once. Pick one thing so you can focus on that thing, get good at that thing,
Mhm.
because your mind and body and soul and life takes time, right?
Yes.
It's just take the pressure off. We're already holding so many things. We're already juggling so many things. So like I know that it feels overwhelming to put one extra thing on, right? But just if it's important to you and you think it's going to help you, you need to find the time to do that,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Absolutely. And speaking on my own experience, sometimes I sign up for so many things that I feel scattered, right? My
Yes.
energy feels
Yeah.
scattered.
Yeah.
And I really like a lot of things, but there was a time, and I think there's still a lot of companies and jobs that function on multitasking. The
Yes.
multitasking is the more multitasker you are, the better. But if you think about it really well, what is actually doing that to you? What is that doing to you, to your health, right?
Sure.
Um, I remember when I was in corporate, the last corporation I worked, I was doing three people's jobs. And I know that there was, after I've left, there were friends of mine in the corporation that will say the same thing. Yeah, I'm doing the work of three or four people. And I mean, how healthy is that? It's not healthy at all. And I will say that whenever you go to a job, you always look at their mission statement, their values, and they have to really align with your own values.
Yes.
Because sometimes when you sign up for corporations or jobs that they don't align with you, you will be exhausted.
Yeah. And that also comes to awareness. Everything is awareness. Like that's the first step. Is like I remember like when I was younger, I was in school and I was working three jobs, right? I was like from one end of the city to another, and I was exhausted. I mean, really, I just didn't want to be at home because it was a very stressful environment. So I have been living in that space for a long time. If I didn't have to be home, I didn't have to face things that I didn't want to do. The way I could be busy is I could work three jobs and go to
Mhm.
school and get to my diplomas. And I'm like a top riser, high achiever. But in my state that I am now, I really overdid it. I don't have the capacity for that at this stage of my life,
Mhm.
right? And I can't tell if that is just exhaustion from overdoing it through my life, or if it's just my age. I believe it's both, you
Yeah,
know?
I think I'm on the same boat
Yeah,
too, right? Because I know I work really hard,
yeah,
and that's something that was in my family.
mm-hmm.
My mom's just see my mom having two, three jobs
Yeah,
to keep up with three kids, single mom, and being a single mom now myself, right? And keeping a household and at that point in my daughter, I had no choice but to work.
yeah,
And the job that I do now is also more physical than being in a computer or in an office, but it is equally tiring,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So sometimes I just feel like, "Oh, can I continue doing this?" Right?
yeah,
But I think it's both. It's
yeah,
just happens to many people. You get burned out, but
yeah,
you get burned out because sometimes it's either you're not in alignment
yep,
anymore with what you do,
that's right.
right? And you're doing so little what you love to do,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. And now I think that that's like the progression of just being more authentic. It's like I can tell from a mile away what I can commit myself to and what I can't. And if that's going to make people unhappy, that is okay with me,
Mm-hmm.
because I no longer have this belief that I have to do all the things and have to overachieve and do whatever to have the approval of the people around me. I literally have to step back and think about myself first. And that's a very different place to be,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm. And it is the energy of it too.
the energy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just telling people like, yeah, I'm sorry, that's not going to work for me.
Mm-hmm.
As if you're a people pleaser, you think about how that pans out.
Yeah.
It's not easy. That's very difficult
Mm-hmm.
to say. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah. And that reminds me too, sometimes I would say yes to things I wanted to say no. But again, just to please somebody or to be nice, right?
Yeah.
Because I grew up in be a nice kid,
Yep.
do, do as I say, right? Um, and I remember going to people's homes back home,
Mm.
even here. My mom would always say, "You, if somebody invites you for lunch or dinner, you have to do the dishes. You
Yep.
have to do the dishes." And that's what I was doing your dishes
I
earlier.
know we just had a small meal here together, and she's doing my dishes, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's like, you're in my home, you don't have to do my dishes. She said, no, I just and you know what, if I was at her place, I would do the same thing. there's
Yeah,
there's some things that just don't you don't get rid of,
yeah,
right? And we both acknowledge each other, and I think it's like, it's just one of those things, and
yeah.
it's okay. But some of these things are very deeply ingrained.
Embedded. Yeah,
Yeah,
they are. And I think it in a way is some of the things that are nice to do. I feel like if I'm a host, I don't expect you to,
right,
right?
right, of course.
But I acknowledge it, and I said, okay, thank you so
Yeah,
much, right? And if I go to a place and I know you now,
yeah,
and it's just me saying thank you
yeah,
for a nice meal,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know why I automatically always do, and I feel better when I do it
yeah, yeah, I
because
know.
I feel like I'm helpful.
Exactly, exactly. Now, I think this would be a good segue into the questions that you can ask yourself, for your personal, values in your personal power. So, the role of your values. So, you can ask yourself, what are the most important principles or standards that I try to live by? What do I stand for? What do I prioritize in my life? And what values would I like to pass on to future generations? So, those are questions you can ask yourself in terms of your values. Um, yeah,
Um, and for me, the question that's really important is the last one.
yes,
What values would I pass on to my future generations? And
yes,
being a mom, to me, it's sometimes I just say to myself, what legacy? In other words, what legacy
Yeah.
do I want to leave for my daughter?
Yeah.
Right? What standards or what are the things that I want her to stand for?
Yes.
And it's been a difficult journey with her too, because being a mom, we always, as we talked earlier about control,
Yep.
we want to protect them, we want to control them, we want to fix everything, we
Yeah.
don't want them to suffer. But at the end of the day, I think we all as parents need to also be conscious that they are making their own life. They're
Yes.
choosing things that they will not always pan out the way
Yeah.
they want it, and they'll suffer and they'll go through hardship,
Yeah.
but that will be also their learning experience.
Yes.
And I feel like as a parent, it is normal as a mom to be able, especially with girls, to speak to them from our own experience,
Yeah.
right? And for them not to make the same mistakes.
Yeah.
And I just want to say that that was my experience growing up, that I grew up in a lot of fear, right? Because of my upbringing.
Yeah.
And now that I see that fear has played a big role in my decisions.
Yeah.
And why is that? It's because I was overprotected, and at a also an older age.
Yeah.
So, you know, being in a late bloomer, as people called it, right? Finding that experience of or catalyst in my mid 40s, and dismantling the base, the foundation of what life I had, was really hard. It was something that I really didn't expect to happen, but at the same time I had to, because I didn't know who Vanessa was. And I think it came with a lot of pain and suffering, but at the same time I needed that.
Yeah.
And I will say, if many of you feel the fears of the unknown, of what that life will look like for you, if you're in a situation, if you're in what they call it, forks road, right? That you're having to decide because you feel like your life is not where you wanted it to be, there's those questions that you have to ask, right? What is serving me? If I go this way, this is what I am gonna continue living in, the same routine, in the same cycles.
Yes.
But if I do this, yes, it might break some situation or relationships.
Yes.
And am I afraid of that, of what's coming?
Yeah.
But at the same time, is that what you really need to continue and break the cycle?
Yes.
And sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to break the cycle, and that can feel like it's a backfire, right? Because what did I do now, right? I can't go back
Yeah.
and fix it. But at the same time, you have to do it with trust in
Yes.
yourself, that this is what you want to do. And the mind will try to rationalize, to convince you otherwise, but this is where you need your heart to
Yes.
make that decision.
Yeah.
And in congruence with the mind, of course, but you have to act from a love perspective rather than fear.
Yes.
Always say, am I doing this for love, or am I doing this for fear?
Yeah. I definitely resonate with you there. Definitely late bloomer, overprotected. Fear, as we spoke earlier, was a big, what do you call it? A big theme in my life. Because when you grow up in that, right, it just is something that's ingrained in you. And it also took me a long time to sort of break the mold, for lack of a better word. And I it's probably one of the most terrifying, saddening, heartbreaking things in the world,
Mm-hmm.
but the payoff is amazing.
So here is one thing and I wanted to bring back to the solar plexus,
Mm.
because the solar plexus is the center of calm,
Yes.
right? And fear also, um, it's what we feel as anxiety.
Yeah.
Fear of the unknown, fear of what's going to happen, right? And that hasn't even happened yet. And so what I want to give you a, this is why it's so important to stay in the body, because the body is the present.
Yes.
Bring yourself to the present.
Yeah.
And in the present moment, nothing is happening. You're just in this moment. And what is in your surrenders? What is it? Even if you're going through a difficult situation,
Mm-hmm.
you know that this moment is safe
Yes.
and secure,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And it's just taking that little pause, and then whatever comes next is just next. And it's just how you will respond to that
Yeah.
moment.
Yep.
It's a moment to moment
Yep.
circumstance. And I never really had experience until I was really more tuned into my body,
Yes.
because I feel like talk therapy has its place and is good,
Absolutely.
but at the same time, for me, it wasn't really enough to make me get out of my own situation and my own beliefs,
Yeah.
until I had to question a lot of things, and I had to experience viscerally something. You know that a lot of people who cut themselves, or who do self damage
Yeah.
in their skin or whatever,
Yep.
they do it because they're disassociated with their bodies,
That's right.
and they want to feel something,
Yes.
right? And because they're so numb to their emotions and feelings, they go into those states, and it's like a punishment for them. And so when you allow yourself to feel every emotion, whether it's, and I'm not going to judge it good or bad, emotion is an emotion, a feeling is a feeling, it's just a part of a spectrum. It's bliss. Every emotion and a feeling fully felt is bliss, right? So I think it's beautiful to be a human being having this human experience, but we're also spiritual beings,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah. And you can't see me, obviously, but I was just nodding my head vigorously at everything that Vanessa was saying, because it is true. Yeah. I think that a lot of us are afraid of our feelings, right? And our emotions, because we maybe haven't been taught how to deal with that,
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
But on the other side of that, if you let yourself feel, you know, um, you get so much information
Mm-hmm.
just from feeling. You
Yeah.
know, I heard Teal Swan. She's like a really big spiritual person, and I actually watched a clip today about that, and she was saying like there's so much information in feeling and emotions that if we don't let ourselves do it, we can never get what we need to really discover about ourselves. And I feel like that's huge for authenticity too.
Mm-hmm.
You will never, if you don't look at your beliefs and your values, and you don't activate that personal power within you, you will never be able to get the information that you need to get more clear on who you are
Mm-hmm.
to the core, and what, you know, who you are, and being able to express that or show that to others.
Right.
Yeah.
We are what they called a masterpiece, yet a work in
Your
progress,
work in
right?
progress. Yeah.
And I've loved that this is a process of elimination.
Yes.
It's not that we're adding something. I think most people think that this journey is about adding something. And I was into that too. That was my misconception. But when I came to this man, one of my mentors, Peter Crone, when he would say, I don't fix problems, I dissolve them. But when I realized how he got to the core of the beliefs that we host ourselves in our brain, and how he, in a moment, dissolves somebody's prison, that's when I realized we do live in a prison of stories, of conversations, of narratives, and it's not nobody's fault,
No, of course
right?
not.
We're
Of
not
course.
making it wrong.
No.
We are saying that it is the awareness of sitting with all of that, what emotions and feelings brings out of you, and understanding that whatever that comes from was something that you picked up as a kid and it was not your fault. It's something you believed in, that somebody made you believed in, and you can change that. You can make a better choice. You can rewrite your story. You can rewire your brain and have a change of heart.
Yep.
About coming with something new about your life, changing that. And it may not easy at the first time because it's a practice, right? It's like going to the gym and exercising every day.
Yep.
And for many of us who hate that kind of work, this work, mental work and spiritual work, it's hard too.
Yes.
But I made it my mission to really dig in deep into the beliefs and the values that I was being hostage by.
Yeah.
And when I dig deeper, I realized, wow, that's not even mine. I'm still carrying what my mother used to say about this belief.
Yeah.
You know, and society also plays a big role in this,
Of
right?
course it does. Yep.
And so I think it is important to know, go within, and within you find your answers. Within is where everything is.
Yep.
And this, I don't know who said this, but it's when I think it was Rumi or Carl Jung, when you see outside, you're dreaming, but when you see within, then you're awake, right? So it just goes to show that the work is with ourselves.
Yes. And we get to exercise our free will at
Yes.
every moment and every turn and everything that we do. We don't have to follow other people's scripts if they don't work for us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's choosing consciously,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And so so I just one question that I have for you. So I know you mentioned earlier that this book was an inspiration for what you were going through, and you wanted um to to share with the world this beautiful work that you've done with yourself. So was there any other catalyst or anything else? Who was your inspiration to do this work?
Yeah, I would say my son. Yeah, my role as a mother trumps every other thing. Every other thing.
Yeah.
Like if I close my eyes and my son said I had like the best mom in the world, my soul will be dancing. Like, I could have the best job, I could do the best thing, I don't care. Like my son is actually my inspiration for everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, he's mine. He's the
Yes.
only thing that will ever be mine forever and ever. And I want to do right by him, and I constantly work on myself to be the best mom I can be.
Yeah.
And I know it might sound corny, but that's my truth.
No, it's beautiful,
Yeah.
right? Because so many kids wish to have a mom like that.
We're all
Right?
just out here doing our best. I really
We
believe it.
are, we
Yeah,
are for
yeah.
sure. And I think if if you're a mom, if you're listening, and any of this what we're talking about resonates with you, honestly, I recommend this book. You will not be disappointed. Also, Josie has other books, which is the journal book.
Yes.
And if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so each one of the chapters in Freeing the Butterfly Within has power words. So those power words we put into a journal because we want whoever is using the book to embody the energy and the word the words within the things that we focus on in each chapter. And you get to basically, you don't have to do them in order, it doesn't matter. You basically get to focus on that word, journal about it, talk about how you might um, lack using it right now or that energy, but how you plan to um, have that energy and power in your life through that word. And we thought it would be a great way to kind of extend a little bit of what we're doing in the book. And we do a lot in the book. Um, we're getting you to journal and really think about yourself and what things mean to you and how it's going to help you to be a better version of yourself. So yeah, that's the journal portion of the series.
Amazing. Yeah, no, I do love this book. It resonated in many ways, even about, and we will have probably the opportunity to talk about the other chapters as
Yeah.
we come along with the podcast.
Yeah.
But we wanted to initiate with this because being the new year, we wanted you to make your goals from a different perspective,
Yes.
right? From a
Yeah.
different energy,
Yeah.
exploring your values and your beliefs and who you truly are and choosing from your true self and your the best version that you can be,
Yeah.
because we all have the power, we all have the will and the energy to do that,
Yes.
right? It may not come easy, but you gotta be courageous, brave, patient
Yeah.
sometimes, right?
Consistent.
Consistent,
Yeah.
disciplined,
Yeah.
and committed
Yes.
to do this work.
Yes.
Because nothing just changes. I think many people try to change the outside first, and that's very futile, right?
Yes.
It's about changing ourselves, and remember, so within, so without,
Yeah.
right? So above, so below,
Yeah.
which is the Hermetic rules that you gotta change within you and everything will be reflected. That reality that you've created is just a bunch of actions that you've taken.
Yes.
And those actions might not have been when you were conscious, but if you want to make more conscious choices, you gotta step on a better version of yourself.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and taking it slow, doing things in incremental steps. Um, Healing and growing is not linear. We were talking about this earlier. It's ups, it's downs, it's upside downs,
Yeah.
it's back and forth, 2 steps forwards, 5 steps back. But you know what? Honestly, we will get there.
Yeah.
You just need to be committed to yourself. You need
Mm-hmm.
to know that, like, you aren't a race. It's not a race against anybody else. You're on your own path, your own journey. And, if two women in a
Yeah.
living room can go forward in their lives, you can too. you know, um, yeah, if you want the change, you will get it.
Yes. And you don't have to, you don't have to do it alone,
No.
right? Communities are an amazing way to do it. I have found really empowered women in my life, and I'm right in front of one here, Josie,
Sweet. So are you.
because when you start changing and really embodying the best version of you, there will be people that you will attract no matter what.
That's right.
And when Josie contacted me to do this, the Glow and Flow, I was so excited. Where things, we started with the makeup and everything, but honestly, this year, we want to focus a lot in the work that we're done too.
Yes.
And um, she has this beautiful program called is it the Self Discovery Program?
Yeah, a set yourself free signature program.
Oh, self choose
Yeah.
free. Yes. Oh, sorry, I was reading the wrong. Yeah, set your
It's okay.
self free signature program, and you can find it at josiemyers.ca.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing framework for you to initiate as well. Either you get the book, or if you think the book will be enough work for you, or if you want to do it on the one-on-one, she has a couple options that you can actually do. You can do a VIP program with her, or you can just do the modules. But I will say take advantage of the VIP, because sometimes you really need a coach. Everybody do need a coach
Yes.
to coach you, to guide you, right?
Yes.
And I have done a lot of this work all by myself,
Yeah.
signing up for courses and doing a lot of things. And, I've gone into different rabbit holes, got myself so sucked in that sometimes, even doing the shadow work or the inner healing can become an addiction,
Yes.
right? You can get caught up. And I think this is, I wanted to add earlier that many people avoid the feeling because it can, once you're in there, sometimes it's really hard to come out. And this is
Yes.
why you need guidance,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
And if I will say, I reiterate that you need guidance especially if you have gone through deep trauma,
Yes.
you need someone, like specialized in that, because it could be like maybe you're suffering from PTSD and that requires a different set of skills.
Yeah.
When it comes to us, I'm a guide for, spiritual connection too, as Josie is. We're both Reiki practitioners, right? And we're all both coaches as well.
Yep.
To kind of dig in a little bit deeper about where are you in your life and how you want to move on and progress in your life. But also we hold space, right? We
Yes.
hold space without judgment,
Yep.
safe space, and you can open up as much as you want.
Yep.
And because we've been through a lot.
Yes.
And we're not here to judge anybody. We're here to help
Yep.
guide you through your own discoveries.
Yes.
It's not that we want to fix you, it's that we want to allow you to find your own answers, right? That's what a coach does.
Yes.
And so if there is any of you that are in need, you can always contact the information that will be placed in the notes.
Yes.
And definitely, I would recommend Joseph's program. I am also working myself on a other program too, and that's the art of living wholeheartedly, and it's in line with what we're talking today.
Yeah.
Because wholeheartedly to me it means in alignment, right? It means playing every part of yourself.
Yes.
We're whole already. We're not missing anything.
I'm looking forward to your program.
It's either, thank you, it's either we have the illusion that we are broken, and this is why I have this passion about kintsugi. And if anybody's familiar with that, is the art of broken pottery.
Yes, I
And
saw
putting back
this.
together,
Yes.
right, and sealing it with gold.
Yes.
And how beautiful it is after it broke down and now it's repaired.
Yeah.
And and I'm very passionate about this because I feel like so many people believe in that story that they're broken. And yes, we feel broken sometimes,
Sure.
right?
But we're
And
just disjointed. We're not broken.
we're right. I feel there was a woman, a coach, I think is what's Bernstein, Deborah Gabriella Bernstein. She's a
Mhm.
spiritual coach too. In one of her books, she said, "We, what we have is emotional. We're emotional fragmented, right? Like when you fall down and you have a fracture, yeah,
Yes.
it's emotional fracture. That's all of what we have,
Yep.
right? It's like we have a cut that we maybe somehow we cut ourselves, so somebody, we fell down and it has still an emotional discharge in
Yes.
our body.
Yes, of course.
But eventually with years, we tend to see it and it doesn't have the same charge, right?
Yes.
Because we have integrated it.
Yep.
And so our emotions are the same way, right? Or our feelings that we had as a kid,
Sure.
right? So I think sometimes we might heal in layers,
Absolutely.
but we eventually heal things,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we can forgive. Sometimes it's hard to forget, but it's not about forgetting. It's about really making those experiences our values, right? Like,
Yes.
how did that take us here?
That's right. That's right.
It can be a journey, but it's worth it. I think
Absolutely.
it is.
Absolutely. It is. Well, I think we
exceeded the
we're
time.
done. We exceeded the
Well, we
time.
could
Yeah,
talk
we hope
forever.
you're still with us, and if you are here at the end with us, we want to say thank you for listening in and hearing what we have to say. We hope that the tools that we gave you, like the journal prompts, have really help you to get to um, the crux of what your values and beliefs are, and know that you're very brave for doing the work, and it will pay off. If you want a change, you always have to do the hard things in anything that you choose to do. We are so happy that you spent the last hour and something with us.
Yes.
We're at an hour and 10 minutes right now. And we can't wait to come and see you for our next episode. If you have any questions, comments, please put them down below. I will put everything in the show notes that you need. And Vanessa, thank you for sitting down with me again. It's always so fun to do these with you, and I can't wait to do more episodes.
Yay! Thank you for having me, Josie. And I am so thrilled for this new beginning, these conversations. And, I hope mostly that anyone listening, that it makes a difference in your life, that you can get something out of it, because that's the purpose and the intention, to share our journeys with you, and to for you to really feel empowered, because you are,
Yes,
right? Every decision that you make, whether you do or you don't, it's comes from your power center.
that's right.
And so rest assured that you are in good hands with us.
Yes.
You know, definitely this does not replace medical advice,
Nope.
right? Or any things that you're drinking or taking medication wise. Please be cautious and conscious that we're not here to replace that. So it's a pleasure to always be with an audience that it's in tune with what we're speaking about. And if you have any questions, or if you want to work with us, need guidance, or even, a comment or a
Yeah.
question, please feel free. Okay,
Yes.
this is a safe space, and Josie and I can contact you privately if that's something that you prefer.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I echo everything Vanessa said. We are just happy that you're here, and we hope that you have a wonderful week, month, year, whatever it is you're going for, and we will talk to you next time.
Yay, thank you.
No problem. Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Whoa. Butterflies unite, sisters in strength, a guiding light, the beauty within shining bright.